I'm confident in saying that I'm proud of what Petco achieved in 2023, and we are excited to share it with you all. It's great to see so many of you online, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Before we jump into today's packed agenda, I'm not sure if I have to get any housekeeping rules out of the way, but I would like to just say that it might be tempting for you as our guests to check your inbox or carry on a side conversation during a dull moment, even though we really hope there won't be one. But we ask you please not to. You might miss out on something really interesting. As Trevor said, your mics will be muted, but please feel free to type in the Q&A section should you wish to ask something after the keynote speaker. Lastly, we know that 80% of virtual meeting attendees regard flawless audio as a key requirement for holding successful meetings. While we have tested everything to ensure smooth transitions, gremlins are known to creep in from time to time, as they did at the beginning, and we ask for your patience and grace should this happen. Thank you. Now on to the agenda. Before we start, I'd like to remind all of us to conduct our activities in accordance with the Competition Act of 1998 as amended. If at any time you feel this code is being breached, please bring it to my attention or to that of one of my colleagues or panelists, and if not resolved to your satisfaction, feel free to log off the call. Now on to the agenda. Firstly, I'll take you quickly through Petco's highlights for 2023. Then we are going to be hearing from Mbali Ntuli, the CEO of the Groundwork Collective, who will speak to us about being active citizens. What does this mean? This will be followed by a Q&A. Please prepare your questions, as she has a wealth of knowledge and is very willing to share that with us. We'll then head into the announcement of the Petco Award winners for this year, probably the most exciting part of today's events. I will then close the session. So without further ado, let's jump into it. In 2024, Petco celebrates 20 years of creating a sustainable value chain for post-consumer packaging. We invite you to celebrate with us today because we could not have done it without many, many of you. So thank you for that. So despite global economic challenges, COVID-19, and the step change to a regulated EPR framework, Petco has worked to balance collection rates, recycling capacity and capability, and market demand for recycled materials. Our sustainable approach, supported by committed members, collection and recycling partners, both formal and informal, has been crucial in adapting to new regulations, including a brand update as well and a revised EPR fee model. Our 2023 collection and recycling targets were based on Year 2 legislation extended producer responsibility targets determined by the volume of products which our members placed onto the South African market. Despite a challenging year filled with uncertainties, we met those targets for over 98% of the plastic products registered with us, including PET bottles, jars, and their labels and closures. We also achieved the required 64% collection rate and exceeded the 58% recycling rate for beverage bottles placed onto the market by our members. In summary, our collection and recycling efforts last year saved 64,100 cubic meters of landfill space. Now that's the size of approximately 6,410 elephants. It reduced 314,500 tons of carbon emissions. That's approximately the size of 83 Olympic swimming pools. Supported buyback centers, sustaining 910 jobs and aiding over 8,000 waste pickers. Conducted 77 recycling workshops and 3 accredited business training courses for almost 6,000 participants. We assisted 58 municipalities, 2 national and 9 provincial departments with recycling initiatives. Last year, Petco invested over 70 million rand in the collection and recycling value chain, enabling our contracted recyclers to purge 309 million rands worth in post-consumer packaging from collection businesses. We developed viable end-use markets, which are critical for a successful EPR scheme. We promote food-grade rPET as a preferred end-use option for post-consumer packaging as much as possible. And last year, we enabled almost 28,000 tons of recycled PET for use by members and industry, and in support of recycled content targets under Section 18. While a growing emphasis is placed on food-grade resin as we move to a circular economy in South Africa, fiber end use remains vital for low-value and coloured bottles. Last year, we began to administer an EPR scheme for liquid board packaging, otherwise known as used beverage cartons, aiming to build a sustainable value chain for these materials. To stimulate the collection, we increased the number of active buyback centres supplying our contracted recycler from 7 to 32, and we supported the price paid for liquid board delivered to the recycler's gate. In the graph, we can see the correlation between collections and an increased price. Our support to the recycler contributed an increase in suppliers, as mentioned above, and collection volumes. And these initiatives aim for a consistent and increased supply every month to the recycler. And we're proud that in the short space of just 1 year, we achieved 80% of the legislated recycling target for this post-consumer material. 2024, in fact, is seeing the employment of 9 buyback centre liaison officers on the ground in all provinces to build on this for the next 12 months. When it comes to supporting projects on the ground, we have a dedicated team of regional recycling officers working with municipalities, waste pickers and collectors to advance the collection of recyclable packaging nationally. The map displayed here reflects the footprint of the work done in the value chain. In summary, last year we supported 100 projects comprising mainly waste pickers, cooperatives and SMMEs with infrastructure and equipment such as scales, trailers, trolleys, balers and cages to increase both the quality and the quantity of recyclables collected. Through these partnerships, we also supported schools, game lodges and resorts, a university and collection projects with 358 bins to promote separation of recyclables from general waste at source. Led by the Waste Picker Integration Guidelines, we also work to enhance the working environment of waste pickers by providing PPE to support their safety, dignity and visibility while on duty, as well as equipment to facilitate collection, such as bulk bags, trolleys and scales. These initiatives have supported the growth of recycling businesses while also simultaneously enhancing the overall sustainability of the recycling value chain. In September last year, we launched the second season of Sorted, our docu-series highlighting South African recycling champions. The series, which promotes sustainable habits, exceeded expectations with over 9 million social media impressions and 2.1 million YouTube views across 9 episodes. I encourage all of you to check out the series if you've not already done so. We recognize and credit all of our partners across the value chain who help to tell their stories and share their experiences. And we hope it encourages many new people to enter the value chain and partner with us. To end off, over the duration of 23, Petco had 27 members. To our members, thank you for choosing Petco as your PRO of choice for these materials. We look forward to your continued support as we continue to build on our vision in year 3 of mandatory EPR, of leading producer responsibility and being a leading producer responsibility organization. You can view our full member registry on our website, beg your pardon. Over to you, Cara, to introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you so much. Cherie. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Cara and I'm marketing manager at Petco. And I have the absolute pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Mbali Ntuli. In 2022, Mbali left politics and the DA to found Groundwork Collective, a group of advocates focused on empowering citizens and uplifting communities. Known for her respected voice and commitment to change, Mbali will highlight the importance of responsibility and active citizenship in South Africa, encouraging individuals to take ownership of a cleaner environment and a better country. We are really, really looking forward to hearing from you, Mbali. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Cara and Sherry, and everyone else for inviting me to speak today. Perfect. So as Cara said, I used to be a politician for many years. I started off in student politics. I started the DA's youth chapter and DASO at universities. And then I also was a councillor in the city of eThekwini from 2011. And later in 2014, I became a member of the Provincial Parliament for 10 years before I left politics. And a lot of the work that I did obviously had to deal with working in communities and making sure that people actually understood what their government was about. And one of the things that I found was that the average South African really doesn't understand how their government works. And that is across all kinds of demographics, race, socioeconomic background, and age, quite frankly. And the reason that I think we find ourselves where we are in the country is because after 1994, we really left the work of becoming active citizens or citizenry just up to political parties and just up to the IEC, essentially. And what that's created, and I'll go into it a little bit, is a situation in our country where we have to change the behavior of how everybody views what they can give to their country, and how our patriotism, which we do have in spades, needs to be channeled into organizing and into mobilizing, without which we'll find ourselves in a situation where we're going to continue to have a country that just doesn't function efficiently for everyone. So I left politics. I was frustrated by a lot of things in there, but I didn't feel I needed a title or a role to be able to continue sort of social impact work. And one of the big things that I set out to do with the Groundwork Collective was to organize, at least by 2030, to have 1 million new young people in particular on the voters' roll, to have them actually understand how their governments and institutions work, and then to have them be the kind of citizens that know that they have to be active. You don't have to constantly try and mobilize them, whether it be for elections or whether it has to be for things like sustainability, taking care of the environment. It must be baked into the culture of who we are as a country, as a citizen, and we must start it young if we want to have that kind of change. So that's the main goal of what we do, and I'll go into that a little bit now. But just so you know what I'm going to cover a little bit in this talk, I want to speak a little bit about where we are as a state of South Africa in terms of our citizenry. I'd like to give you a little bit of feedback on the election outcomes, just so that we can ground this conversation in the context of what's just happened in our country, and then the path going forward, both I think for the country as well as for organizations like Petco and its member affiliates. And then afterwards, I'm very happy to take any questions. So just to say, again, Groundwork Collective, our main goal is around changing the behavior of what South Africans think of themselves as citizens. We're far too passive as a country. We know how to complain. We know things aren't great, but we don't ever really have ways of actually engaging with the state beyond maybe, if you're lucky, you might have a very active ward councillor who has a WhatsApp group. But we have one of the most participatory democracies in the world. Our legislation is great for being able to say, as citizens, we have the right to decide how our taxes are used, how our children's education is done with SGBs. You can sit on any council or legislative meeting. You can ask for the Public Participation Committee, which is a standing committee, which is very powerful, to go and actually speak to them, to have whatever it is that you want as a citizen to be done. We have the ability to have public hearings. We have a COPTA bill right now in our country that has been asking for people to give input onto how the new particular laws around coalitions and other things are going to be set up. But if you were to ask the average person how many times they've ever gone to a ward committee, or if they know what the IDP is, or if they know that they can form something like a UIP to actually take back some of their rates and have a way for them to be able to control what happens literally outside their front yards, you would find that very few people, A, have ever heard about these things, or B, know how to utilize it. And so it's no wonder that as a country, we sit paralyzed by what we see going around us, and the average citizen just doesn't know how to plug in without having to get involved in a party political avenue. So we want to change that, but it has to have a whole of life approach. So we also make sure that we talk and we do stuff around food production so that we're not having people that have to worry about food, particularly young unemployed people, and then skills of entrepreneurship. So that's just what we do as a Groundwork Collective. And a lot of our work is based on community forums, dialogues, and being out in the ground and making sure that people are empowered, because also once you empower people, then you give them the ability to mobilize. And this is a great way to start, I think, for any organization, because then you have people that are on the ground where you need them to be. And I'll talk a little bit later about how I think organizations like Petco, perhaps we need to start having better conversations, both in terms of the private sector and NPCs and NGOs, about how we don't work in silos when we have work that can cross-cut against all of our particular wishes of what we want to see in South Africa. So where are we as a country and how did we get there? I think you all know that we've had declining voter participation in this country for some years. It was a huge issue after the last election in 2021. And I think for the first time since 1994, you've really had civil society and even business to a certain extent really taking on the mantle of trying to increase registration, because obviously it means that you're likely to go get more people to come out and actually vote. And if you don't, and you have a declining participation of voters, what you end up having is a skewed voters roll that leans heavily, particularly towards only older people, and one that is quite frankly unrepresentative. And then you weaken your own democracy. And the reasons that we've had this, partly, obviously, the IEC has been underfunded for quite a long time, but also we just haven't had a conversation in the country about what is really at stake and what's important around voting, outside of it all being based on fear, or outside of it being based on sort of yelling at young people about, make sure that you vote, it's important, but not explaining anything before 18 years of what that's been about. So we've got a huge gap in South Africa, and South Africa, in fact, is the 5th lowest in terms of voting in the world. The other countries that you see there, like the United States and the UK, even though they don't have high voter turnout when it comes to the elections, they have a slightly different situation, that they have the democracies that are far more established than ours. And so whether or not you come out to vote for the Tories, or you vote for Labour, or you vote for the Republicans, you vote for the Democrats, you're assured that at least the basic service level needs, that there's water coming out of your tap, that there's rubbish being collected, is going to be done by either party. And so it's a little bit more understandable why people would be lax there, because their basic needs are taken care of. The conversations that they're having are far more ideological in terms of the fights that they are engaging with. And so that does put off voters anyway, and that's why their voter turnout isn't as high. With South Africa, we're only 30 years into democracy, so this is completely skewed to what it should be looking like. We should have a really high voter turnout, because we should still have the memory of not having had a democracy for a lot of people. And we should still have the excitement of being a young democracy that's able to do a lot more, but that isn't the case. And Afrobarometer has done a lot of work around the efficacy of elections, and all the way throughout the lead up to the elections for the last few years, we've been saying to people that there's a lot of work that we're doing, which kind of shows that, one, people are starting to doubt the efficacy of elections and whether it's something that's worth their time. They're not satisfied with democracy. And then very worrying, and this particular side is one that I used to drum a lot before the elections, 76% of respondents, particularly young people, said that they would be willing to forego elections if there could be a party or an individual that could promise them that they would have jobs, security, and the ability to have some form of law and order in houses. And I find this interesting because 76% is a huge number of people that are willing to actually opt out of democracy. And if you look at what the election results look like, almost identically in terms of where we were doing those focus groups and we were speaking to those people, a certain political party came out on top because they were able to offer those very things. Whether or not they're going to be able to do it is something that remains to be seen. But I think because of the lack of voter and civic education that we have in our country, we are hurtling towards a situation where we are going to have people unable to differentiate between disinformation and misinformation, and political parties that decide, or political players that decide to use that fact to be able to get themselves the kind of votes and to create chaos. So I think that that has led us to where we got to the elections. And if it's something that we don't address as a country very quickly, it's only going to get worse. And we only have to look at the rest of our continent and other countries that are similar to us in the Latin American countries to see when the situation changed for them, whether they became more democratic or less democratic. And it was typically at 30 years, and as where we are now. And yes, you've had a great election in terms of no violence per se, but you can already see that there's already onslaughts towards the institutions that are there to protect the integrity of our democracy. And it only can get worse if we don't make sure that we are doing something from the supply side. So we had in our elections, and the IEC, I think, under very trying circumstances, pulled out at least a free and fair election from our observations and many of the others. And what was interesting, I think, about this election was that we had the highest votes registration ever in the country at 27 million. That's 1 million more than we'd ever had before. But on the day, we know that we had the lowest turnout since 2014, since 2004. So there's something that has happened in terms of us getting people excited and aware, and all the effort that was put into that, and then what actually happened on the particular day. And I mean, as Groundwork, we were part of the observer missions. We were the biggest one in the country, actually. And for the first time, the IEC had just over 7,000 on the ground. We ourselves had just over 3,000 observers. And we found in our assessment that the election was free and fair. That doesn't mean that it was perfect. There definitely were some issues. I'll just go through these very quickly. Obviously, everyone knows about the late openings that happened, the preparedness of the IEC officials. In the past, people have complained that the SARTU officials were used to teachers, and so the IEC was put under immense pressure in these elections to hire new people. But these new people were young people. They were also very dependent on the stipends that they were going to get. So it wasn't somebody, who has a general job and doesn't have to wait for a stipend to be able to get to the taxi to get to work. We had the 3 ballot issues, which a lot of people were confused about, despite quite a lot of work that had been put into making sure people understood. The voting process procedures, and then, of course, the political behavior by some political parties all had to do with this. But even prior to this, we had the IEC only getting ready the idea of what they were going to do in March, when they were also running the biggest elections, which are the SGB elections in the country, and by-elections. And because the politicians and the political parties in Parliament really were maliciously complying with the Concord ruling of saying that we could have independence, they left much of the work and much of the legislation really late, and really didn't give the IEC, I think, enough time to do 19 different ballot papers for the first time, do the portions of education that they needed to do, and also be able to make sure that they were able to pull this off just logistically everywhere in the country, and underfunded them by just over 200 million. So there were definitely issues, I think, from the IEC's perspective, but I think that we must also have a frank conversation that our politicians and the way that Parliament did its legislation really was one of the big hindrances. And as a result of that, I think things like Section 24A, which was suddenly decided that no one would be able to vote where they weren't registered, again, because political parties complained that there was issues of double voting, or that hasn't been proved, were parts of things that caused real contestation and confusion on the day. And technology and voter education and voter turnout. So we have a lot of work to do as the country, and a lot of that work needs to be done way before we even get to the elections. But now we know what it can actually do to an electoral outcome when it hasn't been done properly, because now we sit with low voter turnout and, frankly, no government that is a majority, which isn't in and of itself a bad thing, but has been created by chaos, not by necessarily the voters' decisions. So where do we go from here? Obviously, now we've had the different political parties forming conversations around coalitions, and there's different methods of coalitions. I know that everyone's very excited about the idea of this general national unity government that might happen, but quite frankly, it doesn't have to happen. What I think is going to happen is that you're going to have some key positions being given to each of the different parties that form the GNU, and then you're going to have the ANC actually doing a confidence and supply, because it just hasn't been enough time for all of these political parties to sit around the table and agree ideologically on some issues. And quite frankly, I don't think they're going to, but you don't need them to, because on the first day of the sitting, which is 14 days, and as we all know is tomorrow at 10 a.m., all you need to do is elect the president, deputy president, and the speaker. Thereafter, you've got your office bearers, and you've got the marching orders of who's going to be running that government, and then they can barter and trade based on the different legislations and the different bills or the different things that they have to pass in Parliament as and when they need to. So they don't actually have to be beholden to anything unless they decide that they're forming a formal coalition, which I think for all the parties involved is going to be dangerous given their different constituencies and their different ideological viewpoints. And it sounds like it's not stable, but it's actually far more stable than trying to piece together a coalition of 7 or more different types of parties that you then have to manage. But anyway, so this is where we are now. And that is what's going to be happening tomorrow. And similarly with all the different provinces, I'm sure you all are aware that the Western Cape has had their one in today, and at 1 o'clock this afternoon, Premier Windy will be announcing the format or the formation of his cabinet. Then also with the NCOP, which will happen on Saturday the 15th. And I put this very carefully for you in particular at Petco, because I think never let a crisis go to waste. And what you're going to have now with a new government, new political players in the different councils and provinces is also an NCOP, which is going to become increasingly more important, because KZN, the Western Cape, and Gauteng are likely to be in different hands, quite frankly. And so this is going to be used as an upper house for the first time that really has the muscle to do things. And if you are an organization that obviously wants to get the idea of sustainability and recycling and waste produce and responsible behavior to be a part of something that's not just something that we talk about in our social awareness, that is part of something that's really legislated in effective ways, even if it's at provincial levels, this is where I think you can start to really do a lot of your lobbying, because I think it's important also to not think that politics isn't going to affect you, and that this is where I think you can have some say. So I obviously, looked a lot at what your organization does. And for me, if I could give any kind of suggestion, is the 2 easiest things for people to understand, particularly in these governments, are around sustainability, and to really use the amazing work that you've done to be the driving force of how you get them to do more around this. And then, of course, as I said, for cross-sector collaboration. So you have a lot of work that you're already doing in schools and community engagements, but are you reaching out to organizations like my own, like Future Elect, like Defend Our Democracy, like Mark? I've seen on your registration that you have a lot of organizations that already work on the ground. There's so much to the stuff that we do that's around education and awareness that we could always include a lot of the work that Petco does, which doesn't take away from the mission of what you're trying to do with as a citizenry. And I think it's important because when we're speaking about politics, everything is political. We all want to live in cleaner, safer environments. We want to make sure that we are contributing to the ending of any kind of thing that can, hurt our environment. We want the private sector to be responsible and for us to also play our part. This is where we need to be doing this. It has to be behavioral change, just like you have to change people's ideas of voting and participating. The same, I think, happens in your particular sector. The idea of facilitating a circular economy. There's the YES program. There's so many that I found that I thought would be fantastic, even if it's around just the waste picking element of the work that you all do, that could really be something that is spoken about and that you lobby for as an entity in the new political environment to really establish yourselves as the most important sector or the most important player in the sector, and to be able to get them to do more around that. And I don't think that you're going to have any difficulty in getting this through. And what I think needs to happen is perhaps even for you as as a collective to think, what is your stance towards politics? I know in the past people have been very nervous because of the hegemony, quite frankly, of one political party and not wanting to piss them off. But here is a beautiful time when you're going to have many players wanting to really shine, even if it's on single issues that they can bring to Parliament or to the legislature. And much like our counterparts in America and other places do, I mean, I'm not saying we must take their bad habits of lobbying, but I think that South African private sectors and entities like your own need to start thinking about how they get themselves into those spaces, because if you don't, none of this is going to be discussed. And so I think that that's where we stand as a country. Certainly the work that we do at Groundwork Collective is around connecting communities and people and making them participate more. And we do that in the political space, in the food production space, in the skills and entrepreneurship space. And we have thousands and thousands of people who are patriotic, who give of their time. On election day, like I said, we had just over 3,000 people who were willing to observe the election. And it was on the strength of that we were able to also help the IFC when there were allegations of rigging in particular places, because we had the evidence of people that had actually been there. And I think once people see how easy it is for them to plug into systems, whether it's ours, whether it's yours, they're far more likely to be able to become more active. And I think that that's a challenge for all of us in South Africa now, is to have an active citizenry, because what we haven't done very well is done it, particularly as people who are in positions of privilege. We really outsource a lot of this work to poor people. And I think that they are the ones that are least able to sustain it as long as either the middle class or the private sector can. So the provocation that I think I want to just stop at for now is our democracy stronger or weaker after these particular elections? And what is it that we need to be doing far more to encourage people to be opting in to doing just a little bit more than complaining or being on Twitter on a daily basis about what's happening? And with your particular sector, I think it's something that is great because you can do it right from school kids' age all the way to people who are older, and particularly in communities which people might typically think won't recycle, or that we see usually have issues of a lot of waste that is in communities. There's a huge opportunity there for real collaboration with community members and other people. And I think that that's how we can have your sector playing a huge role in taking the idea of civic participation forward around what matters to you. I'm going to stop there for now, Cara, just because I thought there might be some questions around some of this stuff.
Perfect. Is Mbali, brilliant sharing. Thank you. What is the most appropriate way to reach out to you and the Groundwork Collective in terms of embedding active citizenry in communities?
Great. So on our website, there's a Get Involved. And you can say what it is that you want to do. So, for example, one of the other projects that we do a lot of is around food production. And we've actually found a way and joined with a number of the different partners in the agri sector where we can have, packet of seeds, which is about 150 Rand, that produces 2,000 Rands worth of food. And we go and we show people that you don't need to have a huge garden. You can do it in tires and buckets, and we train them and we teach them how to grow their own food, because there's such an over-reliance on using the grant money for food or using money that you could be using to find a job on food. And quite frankly, we've forgotten what is basically a fundamental human skill. And so one of the things that we try to do is also partner with people to be able to do one, donate one, and then we do a whole bunch of work on that. So there's a lot of different things that we do at the Groundwork, but the best way is probably our website.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I see someone saying, are you offering any education on this to schools, as this is where it should start? What does your work look like in schools?
We do a lot of this with schools. We've tried to institutionalize it. I'm sure you will have You won't be shocked to find that our actual government has been a bit hesitant, but we are on big discussions with the IEB schools. We have a number of collaborations with them that we're working on, and we've had Investec really be helpful in making those introductions. And we've got a curriculum, but our curriculum is free now, so people are welcome to take it, teachers are welcome to take it, and we've really taken all of the stuff that I've been talking about and made it into condensed bite-sized videos, comics, cartoons, so that it's easy for people to be able to get it, particularly young people. And we're also working on a board game. As soon as we find a sponsor, we'll then produce a lot of those board games, which is a mixture of sort of Monopoly and Dungeons and Dragons that teaches children you can win by either, you know, being an active citizen, being a good government, or being a dictator, just to make it fun. And we want to get that out to all schools, regardless of whether they are private or public. And then start a league, because I think if you can also make it fun and competitive for kids, then that's something that they can really buy into. And if you have a prize of, you know, some money that goes towards their school one then I think you can really get people coming in. There's nothing more boring than just standing up and talking about rights and what happens. But if children as young as 5, which my daughter is, can understand what voting is and can do mock elections just before our elections, and they vote on donuts and ice creams, then this is something that we can have. Because as I say, you can't yell at someone at 18. It's too late by then. You need to start it really early. And if someone can talk about the South African Springboks and about what the national anthem is from that age, then already you are involving them in civics of some sort. You just need to make it age appropriate. So we are working on getting in schools.
Cool. And I just also wanted to add to that, with respect to the work that we are doing in schools. We do a lot of sponsorship of bins and building recycling stations in schools to try and get people to engage in what we call separation at source, actually separating recyclables from waste at schools. This is usually in partnership with municipalities in the area, and we always make sure that there is a reliable collector in the area to make sure that those recyclable materials and that recyclable packaging is actually collected. And then the second thing that I just wanted to encourage everyone to go have a look at, if you are interested in schools, is we have created content for grade 1 up to grade 9 in partnership with the Pick and Pay Schools Club, which is all around sustainability and recycling. It's currently on our website, which is petco.co.za. At the top, if you click on consumers and then you go to schools resources, they are all uploaded there, or you can head to the Pick and Pay Schools Club website and they are all there. So it's posters and it's also workbooks which you are able to use for free. So that's our school's work. I've got another question here that says, "Hi Mbali, I'm with Use It, a KZN-based waste benefication NGO. It would be wonderful to find a way to collaborate as we work with communities to upskill, incubate and network in order to divert waste from landfill." So Heidi, I'm sure you heard how you can get hold of Mbali, but Mbali, it's called Use It.
Just give them my details. I don't mind at all.
Perfect.
So that would be great. Yeah, like I said, we've got thousands and thousands of people on our database that we work with, and a lot of them are young people, and a lot of them don't actually even want to be paid. They just want to do something that I think makes them feel like they're contributing and giving back. I think we don't realize that the complacency that we have actually makes us disassociate from being able to speak and actually understand each other as South Africans across the board. So this is really great ways for us to calculate that behavior. So very happy to talk to you afterwards.
Perfect. A comment that ends with a question just says, "Great, thank you so much, Sisi Mbali Ntuli on board, and also the information you are sharing with us. I, as a waste picker, encourage the culture of recycling and greening in my community. I like the idea of voters' education while they are young. And also I have adopted schools in my area, but the municipality here told me that we are doing the same thing, that they are not helpful. Sorry to say that. How can we partner up as we are looking for a great Mandela Day event? Do you have anything on the cards for that, or should you just reach out to you?"
Yeah, you can reach out to us. We're still catching our breath after the elections.
Cool. Then curbside pickup in the greater Durban area seems to have become somewhat unreliable and has knocked the momentum of recyclables. Can Petco assist in this. So I don't know, Mbali, if you know anything about collections in Durban at all, or
Well, we don't have a mayor now anymore as of
can't
tomorrow.
hear. Sorry, you've gone quiet.
I'm sorry, I was saying we don't have a mayor as of tomorrow. But I think Durban just generally around recycling has not been as consistent as it should be. But this is why I say this is what needs to happen. If this is the case, schedule a meeting to go and see the mayor or to go and see the particular, committee that's in charge of it. At this particular point, they're not going to say no to anyone because they all want to have something that they can say that they can do so that they can show their electorate. And don't take no for an answer at all. And if you need help, I am still fairly in tune with a lot of people in the political space, so I'm happy to try and do that. But it is also our rights to be able to get those meetings, whether it's with the councillor or anybody, quite frankly. And there are also remedies to call them accountable if they don't do that. So I would definitely encourage you to go right up to the top. Although the officials are probably going to be a better bet than the politicians. But you understand what I mean in terms of actually making sure that you're in that conversation.
Cool. Thank you. Then I don't know if you can help with this, but it says, oh, and sorry, just on the Durban thing, I just wanted to say that there is a new recycling plant for PET that is going to be established in Ballito, and so that should drive a lot of demand for more collection for PET plastic specifically. So that's quite interesting, and we suspect that a lot more buyback centers will be hopefully popping up there, and we're doing quite a lot of work in the area as well to try and increase the amount of collections because they need to be able to actually feed that plant. So then there's another question here that says, good day, what happens when a prominent institution refuses to recycle their waste? Even if you've drafted proposals and approached HOD of that particular institution, they insist on taking their waste straight from their dumping premises to the landfill. I've been sent from pillar to post about the matter of sorting their waste for free. I want to involve our community. Please help. How do I go about this?
I was saying that my suggestion would be to expose that particular institution and to say to them, this is what you think you're going to do and you're going to make it a public affair. And usually people don't want that kind of bad publicity. And at the very least, it can answer why they aren't taking advantage of someone who's willing to do something for them for free. And again, this is where I think you should be able to have good relationships with the kind of officials that you can then speak to them. There might not be Barbara Creasy and her team anymore, but someone will be there. And also don't be afraid to use the opposition to get those kinds of answers and to ask them. But again, you can ask in certain committees, if it is a political institution, I'm assuming, to actually give you the answers of why those things are happening. And again, by law, within 2 weeks, they have to give you a proper answer. So you don't always have to ask them directly. You can force them to actually answer you and then to decide what to happen after that. But I'm a big fan of, if they don't want to listen to you nicely, that you also use a bit of a stick approach.
Yeah, I wanted to say one of our award winners from, I think 2 or 3 years ago is Wendy Nola. And she's a consumer journalist, and she loves to tell a story about well-known institutions who are not playing their part in doing what they should be doing. So she's always looking for a good story. And if you don't, talking about the stick approach, she's always looking to make sure that people are behaving in kind of the right way and being active citizens. She is very active herself. So I'd recommend reaching out to her as well. Someone says, great work, Mbali. Just to check your view regarding change in mindset, littering and illegal dumping is such a huge problem in our country.
It is, and nothing makes me angrier. Between that and people that don't put their children in seatbelts and wear hards, I think those are my two real big pet bugs. But I think, again, like any kind of behavioral change or behavioral economics, it needs to happen over time. It needs to be a whole of society approach. It needs to have both the incentive of why it's good for us as a collective, and also an element of shaming people who don't do it correctly. But Yeah, I think we have a long way to go, but again, I think starting as young as possible to show what the repercussions are, and also not making it abstract. I think it's hard when somebody lives in an area where all they see around them is people throwing things out the window or just littering, and living in that, to then come and speak to them without understanding their lived reality and what it could be like. So I think that's also where, talking to community leaders and community activists comes in, because if you can get them on board as being part of the change makers and the catalyst movers in that particular community, you're far more likely to get them being able to reach those people more and better over time in volume than if you're going in and out every now and then to remind people, don't litter or don't waste. I don't think that is as important. And it's the same principle in politics. If you want someone to vote for you, they need to have seen you at least 12 times before they actually remember or care about what you have to say. So yeah, I think it's the same kind of behavior change. It has to be consistent in volume over time with people that are there to continue the message even when you aren't.
Yeah, repetition, repetition, repetition. It's what we always say. Also, I look after the education and awareness, and sometimes I feel like I'm just saying the same things over and over and over again. But that 12 times
tired of it. That's the first time
I'm tired of it, but maybe not tired of it, but I've heard it so many times, but the amount of times that 12 times stat, that gives me inspiration to carry on saying what I say, because if one person only sees something 3 times or 4 times, it hasn't actually made an impact. Okay. A lot of the questions that are coming through are really about Petco's work and how we can help with training. I'm going to just give a quick pause to just say if anybody else wants to direct a question at Mbali, I'll give you a moment to do that. Otherwise, the Petco team will.
More political ones about what's happening tomorrow, guys. We're going to be watching history being made as we have the first sort of new government that's going to come potentially tomorrow.
I'm interested in that. If you feel like
my
talking
personal
about
view is that there's going to be an upset in KZN. So KZN people, we need to brace ourselves. But it's going to be interesting either way.
Yeah, someone says, yes, please tell us more about what's happening tomorrow. An upset. Can you elaborate on that?
So, I mean, and now I'm just going to be frank. Everyone, has heard the president saying that the ANC went out, spoken to all the political parties to try and form a government of national unity. Some of the parties outrightly said that they didn't want to have anything to do with those talks. Others have sort of been playing their hand to see what's going on. But the assumption is that it's just going to be, maybe the ANC, the DA, and the IFP that are going to form it. And that maybe they'll each get ministerial positions, and then we have this happy government that continues. But I think people forget just, 2 weeks ago, these people were all fighting with each other about how they would agree with things. So I don't think it's going to be as neat as that. As I said, I think tomorrow really is only going to be about the election of the 3 office bearers. And thereafter, I think they're going to take them on a case-by-case basis, because there's no way that I can see the DA and the ANC, for example, agreeing on employment equity or the national health bill or the basic income grant in the next little while at all. And so typically Parliament only passes about 5 or 6 bills a year, which is a really low bar, but that's what's happened. And so then they don't need each other really that much, which means either if the coalition agreement doesn't have some form of collective responsibility, we'll still see them at each other's throats. And I don't know what that means for the stability of the country. If they decide to be mature adults in the room, then perhaps they agree on some kind of power sharing. If I were the ANC, I'd give the IFP something like deputy speaker or speaker. I'd give the DA something like chair of chairs or maybe leader of government business, and say to them, look, you can help run the parliamentary agenda so that it's on track and that there's oversight in the country, but we will still, sort of drive a lot of the things. And that helps them all, because then, no one can accuse the ANC of being puppets of white people. No one can accuse the DA of suddenly, becoming lackeys of the ANC and forgetting what they stand for. And then no one can accuse the IFP of also really selling out either. In this way, at least you have something happening, but that they all still get to be separate entities. If they decide to have a formal coalition, it means that they all are together. And what I think you'll get then is smaller parties being able to rise up to take the opposition space. And then in the next election, I think it makes the NCDA and IFP far weaker if they decided to be formally together. But that's, of course, assuming that, this hasn't all been about positions and that it's been about ideology. And we don't have a great track record of that in our country. In KZN in particular, I cannot see a situation where the MK gets 45% and 37 seats. And in KZN, you need 41 seats to be able to have a majority. So I can't see them having a position where they get 45% and 37 seats and then just allow the ANCDA and IFP to make deals to run the funds. I think what they're going to do is that they're going to ask the EFF to join them, and then they're going to tell 3 other people to vote for them on a secret ballot, and not actually say that they voted for them. That's how I think that's going to play out. But I'll leave it there so that I don't take up too much time.
There's 2 more questions. If we can just end with these 2. The one is, and thank you so much for your insight. I think it's so interesting, and thank you for sharing it with us. And it's so nice to have kind of I feel like an insider view. But just 2 more questions. So the one says, can we hold a ward councillor liable for lack of waste management services?
I don't think you can hold them liable, because I don't think that they themselves have any influence on that in particular. But certainly they should be giving you report back meetings. And if it's something that you've asked them to put on the agenda of council, it's something that they need to report back to you on where it is at that particular level. And if they don't, then you have remedies like making sure that the speaker is able to take it on, or their caucus chair, or their particular caucus leader as well. So again, many people don't utilize those particular channels. If your councillor isn't sponsoring you, you have both the institution that needs to force them to do so, and you also have the politics that needs to force them to do so. And you call, I don't know, whoever, John Steenhuisen, and you say, councillor and Ward 63 has never answered a single email, I can assure you that they are going to make sure that the councillor gets back to you. So that's one way, but institutionally is really, really needed to have it being done. So that you can actually get back what's actually happening around that particular issue. But in terms of them personally liable, no, we don't really have anything like that.
Okay, cool. And then the last question is, do you see the youth engaging more in politics on the back of their heightened awareness around climate change or not?
We did a survey and focus group actually, and so did Afrobarometer around what people understood around climate change, and it was really, really low. So young people themselves, but also other people, particularly in peri-urban and rural areas, didn't really consider climate change to be a big issue or to be an issue that they fully understood. And I think the former has to do with the latter. So I think when you explain to Ugogo that, the price of ipapa or maize meal is going to go up because there's an extra drought in the Free States, because this is what's happening with the climate and that affects the bottom line of how much she spends on her groceries, then that's a very clear linear way of what climate change does to your pocket and to your everyday household. But if you're going to talk about like rising temperatures and things that are a bit more abstract, I think not many people in South Africa actually are at that level. So I think we need to have a conversation maybe about speaking about climate change and sustainability in ways that are very part of the person's lived experience. And there's lots of them, I think, in South Africa, so it's not that particularly difficult. I just think as an industry, it needs to be spoken about in terms of how people's lives are. And then you'll see an uptick. What I do think is going to be interesting is I think we're going to see a lot of young people more involved in politics in terms of registering and also going out to vote, given this last election. Because psychologically, what this has done for our country is that people have actually seen that a vote can take out what is literally 15-year-old liberation movement. Never happened before in the way that it did in South Africa. Literally from over 50 to 40% in KZN, from 57 to 17%. Anyone who didn't think that the power of voting was something that caused any kind of change has seen it in these elections, and I think we should see the ripple effects of that. what we do in between elections, of course, is going to be even more important. And that's why we need to have this conversation about active citizenry.
Perfect. Someone just said, yeah, they just said thank you so much for your insights and really appreciate it. There's one more question that I'm going to end off with, but Mbali, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time and your insight and just making politics feel kind of accessible in some way. I felt that every engagement that I've had with you and the kind of education that Groundwork Collective puts out there on your platforms, on social media is just like super engaging. And I'd really encourage everyone to also like follow Mbali on LinkedIn. And that's from me. It's not a plug from her, but just to follow you with your updates. It's been really, really interesting. And I feel like I've got a different kind of a lens into politics since having met you. So I personally am very grateful, and I'm sure that everybody else is. And thank you so much for your time and for sharing your insights with us.
And good luck.
Perfect. We're just going to end off by answering one more question, but Mbali, you're welcome to jump off. One question here was, what is the crucial things to control waste in our households and community? How can we work together to solve that? Thank you for that question, Zamile. And I think from our perspective, I think the fact that you're already asking that question is a step in the right direction. I think that being conscious of waste and litter and what we buy and how we shop and how we dispose of the things that we buy is really, really important. So things that we can do is we can check our packaging to see if they are made from recycled content and also if they are recyclable. And I would say also just start separating your waste from your recyclable packaging. So the prize is to be able to separate landfill bound waste from organic waste from recyclable packaging. But if not, then to just have two separate bags, one for waste and one for recyclable packaging. When you want to put your recyclable packaging in that bag, squash it. So for example, if it's a bottle or a can, to squash it and then, or a carton, and put it back into your, and put the lid back on and put it into the recyclable packaging bag, and then make sure that that gets collected either by a waste picker or by a private collection company, or that you take it to a buyback center, or check to see if your local municipality actually has a curbside collection program. So yeah, so that's how I'd say we can all participate and get involved. And now I'm going to close that part of the session, and I'm going to start the Petco Awards, which is one of my, if not favorite, one of my favorite things that Petco does. And so moving on, those of you that haven't been a part of the ceremony before, I am jealous because it's such a feel-good, happy part of our AGM, and I hope that you will all enjoy it. So for those of you that don't know what the Petco Awards are, they basically exist in order to honor and celebrate the achievements of individuals, companies, and organizations that have made extraordinary contributions to the collection and recycling industry in South Africa. And this year, again, we were overwhelmed by nominations for the awards. And we received them from all corners of the country, from the Northwest to the Western Cape to Gauteng to KZN. And we received so many great entries this year that we actually decided to have runners-up to acknowledge the incredible work that is being done. And that's just a testament to the number of entries that we received. At Petco, we believe our greatest asset is the remarkable network of partners who we work with daily. Each of our winners and the runners-up display the key values that we work to demonstrate here at Petco: respect, professionalism, integrity, empowerment, and sustainability. And I'm sure that you will be as inspired by their stories as we are. For noteworthy achievements and success during the course of the previous year, Petco is recognizing 11 recipients across the following 9 categories. The first category is Environmental Education and Awareness Initiative. The second is Best Community Recycling Initiative. The third is Design for Circularity. The fourth is the Entrepreneur category. Sorry, my eyes itchy. The fifth one is Curbside Collection and Sorting. And the sixth is Local Authority Recycling Innovation. The seventh category is Recycling Partnership Game Changer. The eighth one is Top Women in Collection and Recycling. And the last one, which is a new category, is Innovation. To the winners, we are so glad that most of you are able to be with us today, albeit virtually. Your certificates and prize will be arriving at your homes or workplaces in the coming days. And the awards will work as follows. So I will first announce the category, then announce the runner-up. In some cases, there aren't runners-up in every category. And then the winner, and then I will give some information about that winner. And we will then give the winners who are here the floor to just say a few words for 2 or 3 minutes. So let's kick this off, shall we? The first award is for the Top Environmental Education and Awareness Initiative. This category looks to recognize educational and public-facing initiatives led by organizations or individuals that stimulate innovative ideas that have successfully addressed a waste management challenge. And the runner-up here is the Gobi Foundation. So Vaughan, your determination to combine physical and sustainability education is admirable. And we just wanted to recognize your work and the communities that you've impacted. And we really look forward to seeing what the future brings for Gobi. And the winner in this category is, I wish I had a drum for a drum roll. We need some better sound effects, I think, next year, Trevor. The winner here is Tetra Pak for their Choose to Recycle campaign. So congratulations to Masale and the team. Your commitment to running an on-the-ground initiative that increased the amount of cartons that were collected while educating learners about the importance of collecting recyclable packaging is truly, truly commendable. Tetra Pak understood that education is a key part of changing attitudes around litter and recycling, and you have created a positive ecosystem around waste in the areas that the project was launched. So well done. So a bit more about this project. Tetra Pak, Woodlands Dairy, and us, we all collaborated last year, but this was a project really driven by Tetra Pak on the Choose to Recycle Schools competition to promote the recycling of liquid board packaging. The campaign included a roadshow across 22 schools in the Eastern Cape in 2023. 19,250 learners were educated on environmental responsibility and the importance of recycling cartons. Through social media platforms and QR codes at the point of sale, users were directed to the Tetra Pak website for further information on recycling initiatives. Each school received branded recycling bins and used cartons were collected. Winners in each area received prizes to support their schools in various ways, with a total of 270,000 cartons, equaling 9.5 tons, being collected. Masale, over to you. Please unmute yourself and put on your camera.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me, Kara.
I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay. No. Thank you so much for the recognition. Sustainability is at the core of our pillars and in our business. And just giving this campaign where we managed to interact with learners and basically catch them young in educating them about collection and recycling has been a worthwhile experience. And we hope to continue with the partnership. And thank you very much for the recognition.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. And we are also excited to work together and build on this campaign, hopefully, in the future.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks, Masale. So on to the next category. The next award is for 2023's Best Community Recycling Initiative. This category recognizes an individual or an organization whose ingenuity and perseverance have created and sustained successful business ventures or community projects in the collection or recycling industry that directly benefit and uplift the communities within which they operate. This year, we are recognizing 2 runners-up and one winner. And what is always so amazing to see, and this blows me away every year, is that there are always the most entrants in this category. Every single year, we receive so many entrants in this category, and it just shows that for these initiatives and for so many initiatives that are operating in the collection and recycling space in South Africa, that it's not just about creating an income. It really is about uplifting communities and creating sustainable livelihoods for the people around those projects in which they operate. And so for this, the runners-up are Green ZA and Junk Stars. So firstly, Anza and the team, all of the work that you have done to create jobs, clean the environment, and fight climate change is really remarkable. And we were blown away by the impact that you have been able to have at such a young age. It's really inspiring. And Jessie, your determination and commitment to running your swap shop for so many years, where children from low-income households can exchange packaging for essentials like food and toiletries and stationery and clothes, has also been so admirable. And we encourage you both to keep up the excellent work. And thank you for your entries. And the winner in this category is Fitchett Park Neighborhood Association, otherwise known as FNA. Congratulations to Duarte and the team. Well done for running this project and growing it to where it is over the last decade. You are an excellent illustration of how one person's idea can bring to life a successful and sustainable project for any community. And we can only hope that more people will follow in your footsteps in the future. The Fitchett Park Recycling Project, launched in 2013 with Tuffy's support, has adapted over the years by establishing Saturday collection points and deploying additional trailers. It employs 12 staff and involves 2,791 households, a hospital, 2 shopping centers, 5 retirement villages, and 2 estates. Petco has sponsored this project in the past, and the project has reclaimed over 1,000 tons of recyclable packaging from 2013 to 2023. Duarte, over to you if you are here.
Good morning, and thank you so much for the acknowledgement of what we are doing here, and it's really appreciated. But without Petco, I don't think we will be where we are. And I would just like to thank Petco, the management officials of Petco, and thank you for all the opportunity to enter for the 2024 awards here. And then a special thanks for Belinda Booker, who has always encouraged me and given up advice, motivation, and all that nice things. And thank you so much for Belinda. And I would also like to thank the management of Figaro Park Neighborhood Association, as well as the members who participate in this effort of ours. I need to thank our service provider, who's regularly collecting our recyclable materials, and that's Mr. Zert Pretorius from Green Waste, who started his business and grew it. Through the FNA, the local media, I must be thanked. We could enhance the separation at source by introducing recycle stations at 6 retirement villages, 2 estates, and the Dutch Reformed Church of Pellissier, of the awareness sessions with the communities there. We as the FNA strive to enhance our efforts to reduce the carbon footprint, not only for Figaro Park, but the greater Bloemfontein and Mangaung, and will do awareness wherever we can and wherever it's needed. And then again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Best wishes for you.
Thank you so much. And Duarte, if I can just ask you one question, I know that you weren't prepared for this, but if you could give one piece of advice to anybody that's wanting to start a separation at source community recycling initiative in their area, what would it be? How did you start out? And just let us know quickly.
Yeah, thanks. Starting out is, I mean, you must be committed, firstly. The awareness must be raised. And then where do you dispose of your recyclable material or sell it? We as FNA don't receive a cent out of everything. So this is our community project. So I would advise to do good research, have a good service provider, and just be patient, and it will grow as you carry on.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think those are good, tangible steps for anybody that is wanting to start something like this in their area. So thank you so much for joining us, Duart, and for that advice.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
great day and well done again.
Thank you so much.
All right, so on to the next category, which is design for circularity. And this category celebrates products that exemplify the best of sustainability and looks to recognize products that have been designed with careful consideration of resources in mind. And this could be inclusion of recycled content or products that have been designed in a way that they can actually be recycled at the end of their life. As we say, recycling actually starts with design, and that's very important to take into consideration. And the winner here is Woolworths for their polyolefin shrink sleeve on their iced tea range. Congratulations to the Woolworths sustainability team. Your commitment to working to create solutions to challenging design for recycling issues will make a large difference in the amount of PET plastic bottles that are able to be collected and recycled in South Africa. And we are looking forward to a lot more brand owners taking up this solution in South Africa. Woolworths has responded to recyclability challenges in their iced tea packaging range. Previously, the PET shrink sleeve on the PET bottle used to hide sediment and cause the entire bottle to actually be unrecyclable, as the PET sleeve was not able to separate from the PET flakes in the recycling process. However, Woolworths transitioned to a polyolefin shrink sleeve, so that's a shrink sleeve made out of a different type of plastic, becoming the first in South Africa to adopt this sustainable design format. This change ensures that both the PET bottle and the polyolefin shrink sleeve can be recycled. Ralph, I think that you are with us. Over to you. If you wish to come on the screen, please unmute yourself and put on your camera.
Okay, so I think certainly we're very honored to receive an award like this, but it doesn't reflect the work that goes on behind the scenes by people like Don and a bigger team within Woolworths. So this is not just something that Woolworths does, it needs a broader community, as it were, in terms of the value chain to make this possible and make it happen, and bring it to reality. So it's a good idea that without a lot of people putting a lot of effort in, it doesn't happen. So I think a shout out to them is important.
Thank you so much for your words, and well done again to you and to the sustainability team and to Don and to Faraz. I think it's a really great step in the right direction, and we hope that other brand owners will learn and will hopefully take this on as well to ensure that more PET bottles can actually be recycled in South Africa. Thank you for your time, Ralph.
Yeah, certainly we're happy to share it. If anybody's interested, we're happy to share what we've done and how we did it.
Perfect. I'll see if anybody asks for your contact details. I will just check with you and share your details with them. Thank you. And so we move on. The next award is for the top entrepreneur in the collection and recycling industry for 2023. This category recognizes individuals whose entrepreneurial insight has created and sustained a successful growing business venture in the collection or recycling industry. And this year we are recognizing 2 runners-up and 1 winner. And the runners-up this year are KG and Jeannie and Can't Share Recycling. Congratulations for being runners-up to both of you. So, Katlego, your commitment and drive to building your buyback center to what it is today is truly commendable. And I've actually had the pleasure of visiting your buyback center. And it was really lovely to meet you, and well done for being a runner-up. And Conrite, your environmental enterprise has helped so many people to start separating recyclable packaging from waste and helping it to be diverted from landfill. We are confident that both of your futures are bright, and we are really eager to see your businesses continue to thrive and grow in the future. And the winner in this category is Susan from Mbali Ntuli. Congratulations, Susan. Your commitment to starting and running your business over the last 10 years, actively engaging and cleaning up the community by collecting recyclable packaging is really admirable. So just a little bit about Mbali. Susan founded this buyback center in 2014, and it operates as a buyback center collecting recyclable packaging from households and waste pickers while educating the community about recycling. So Susan was one of the buyback centers that started using technology like BankU when we launched the project. And what this allows them to do is that they can provide customers with visibility into their monthly tonnages and payments. This allows waste pickers to see what they have actually brought in. And it's also a business management tool for Susan to use at her buyback center. So with 30 employees, Mbali impacts 266 community members, 3 schools, and 30 tuck shops by promoting recycling practices. Recently, they established a new recycling center with granulating and pelletizing machines, increasing material collection and demonstrating their commitment to sustainability and to entrepreneurial success. So Susan, if you are here, can I please hand over the mic to you?
Yes, thanks a lot, ma'am. We would like to honor this. Okay, I'm speaking on behalf of Susan Kupega. She's currently busy right now. Yes, we are very grateful to receive this award, and we are very thankful to Petco and all the things that Petco has done for Mbali Ntuli.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you do. And you guys really do deserve this award, and continue with your entrepreneurial spirit. It's really inspiring for us to see.
Okay, thanks
so
a lot.
much.
We'll continue doing so. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all the best. Have a good afternoon. Bye. All right, so the next category is curbside collection and sorting. And this category recognizes the best curbside collection or separation at source initiatives in South Africa. This category celebrates either the longest running, most effective and efficient separation at source initiatives. And this year we are recognizing 2 people and their organizations as winners. And in no particular order, the first winner is the Oasis Green Team. So congratulations to Jan and the team. Your commitment to running an on-the-ground initiative at your retirement resort has not only led to an increase in awareness about the importance of separating recyclable packaging from organic material and waste, but has diverted hundreds of kilograms of valuable materials from our overflowing landfills. Your commitment and dedication to the cause is something truly admirable. So well done to Jan and the team. Just a bit more about the project. So Oasis is a retirement resort in Cape Town, and they run a program promoting waste separation at source under the motto "Less to Landfill." Residents actively participate by dropping recyclables in designated bins or using door hangers for collection for those who aren't able to take their recycling down to the bins. And this has resulted in over 92% of waste being diverted from landfills. The team sorts recyclables into categories, conducts daily counts and weigh-ins, and arranges weekly removal. Jan, if you would like to unmute yourself and take the stage, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, thank you very much.
Hi.
Yeah, wow, what an achievement for the Cleaning Oasis team. Thank you very much for the award and the opportunity to address you. The efforts that Petco go to educate the public and industry must be applauded. On behalf of our Greening Oasis team, honored to address you. If it had not been for the seed that a man sowed after attending an ecology discussion related to water saving and waste management at the Franschhoek Literary Festival, the Oasis Greening team would not exist. Thank you, Tom. The award is a true reflection of a great team effort. The journey that the Greening Oasis team have been through has been extremely rewarding and educational, and many of us, and dare I say, fellow residents, management, and staff as well. The achievements are certainly remarkable, and we hope that many others will follow when they see that the diversion from landfill has surpassed the staggering amount of 93% and is growing. So to those pessimists, it can be done. May our success be an inspiration to others, and be they retirement homes, resorts, cluster communities, complexes. In fact, even single households can make similar efforts. If there's anything that I can ask Petco to support and encourage, it is the efforts of our waste pickers, known as trolley boys and trolley girls. I feel that our councils do not recognize the beneficial services they perform for the councils and our communities. Consider the amount of material which they withdraw from the waste stream, thereby reducing the amount of recyclables that go to landfill and effectively lengthening the life of a landfill site. They need assistance by providing more facilities where they can safely and securely separate the materials that they have collected, thereby increasing the remuneration that they receive from the buyback centres. Households need to play their part by placing recyclables in bags next to their bins on collection days. Thank you, team. Thank you, Petco.
Thank you, Jan, and thank you to the Oasis Green team. I had the pleasure of visiting them, and it was really amazing to see what has been going on there and what you have achieved. So well done again, and we can't wait to see how your project continues to grow. Thank you so much for being with us today, Jan.
Thank you.
Okay, and the next winner in this category, we are going to move on, is Mandy's EnviroCare, also known as Recyclem. Congrats, Mandy. Your commitment and perseverance to ensuring that the people in your community and beyond have an income and get their recyclable packaging collected is truly admirable. So well done for all the work that you have done and for all the livelihoods that you have changed. Recyclem is based in Pietermaritzburg and has been operational since 2016. And they promote waste diversion from landfill through a weekly separation at source system, serving 12 suburbs and 25 businesses. Residents and offices place recyclables in clear bags or labeled bins on scheduled days. They educate the community on recycling through various communication channels, and their expansion to schools and businesses in Pietermaritzburg and Hilton highlights their commitment to expanding environmental sustainability. So Mandy, if you are with us, I think I saw you online, please unmute yourself and share your camera so everyone can see the woman behind this incredible operation.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Petco, for recognizing the hard work and dedication that goes into making, even creating this award that recognizes the real effort that it takes to get such a program started. I'm really appreciative of this. I'd also like to very from my heart thank Anthony Waldhausen, who is from the Mzinduzi Association of Residents, Ratepayers and Civics Association in Maritzburg, who nominated me for this program. Thank you, Anthony. Without you, I wouldn't be sitting right here right now. And really, I want to thank all the residents, the businesses, the schools, everybody in the community who wholeheartedly supports our recycling program. You know, I started this program in my garage at home sorting recyclables myself, and it's because I just love recycling. And it's such a pleasure for me to see how the community has embraced recycling as a way to do their bit for the environment. And I really appreciate all the support, the loyal support through our ups and downs and our challenges that our community, the residents, they've placed such trust in us as an organization. I don't think that anybody realizes the impact that recycling actually has on the environment, or to minimize waste, to send as little as possible to the landfill. It's something that all of us should be doing. And I was listening to Mbali earlier saying that it has to start young. And my passion is actually to teach children from young and to get more involved in schools. And I really think that more needs to be done from the government perspective, from municipality point of view, to provide the infrastructure so that people like us can actually go and grow into far more communities than we are at present. And really a lot more has to be done. So I want to thank Petco very much for this opportunity and for this privilege. And, you know, I think of companies that have embraced the producer responsibility that they have. I think of Hulaman, who is being so supportive. And there's many other companies that are doing their bit to make sure that all of us can preserve our planet the way it was supposed to be. But last but not least, I'd really like to thank a key partner of mine, my husband. Without him, I wouldn't be sitting here. He allowed me to pursue this wild dream that I had, this idea that I love recycling, I want to do something. It started in my garage. My car used to sleep outside. We had no garden because, yeah, that's where it started. And he's now become an integral part of my business. I couldn't do this without him. Our operations and logistics manager, I want to say thank you for that. And we really look forward to growing from strength to strength. We have to increase our collections. We want to increase our pet collections. And this means that we need to go into more communities than we are already doing. And we really look forward to doing that. So thank you, Petco, for this leg up that we're going to get.
Thank you so much. And thank you for also allowing us to come and take photos of your beautiful site. As you can see in these pictures, everything is spotless and so well organized. I was blown away. So well done for the work that you've done. And yeah, we look forward to seeing what you achieve in the future. And yeah, wishing you all the best of luck for the future. So, and thank you for your words and your speech. So the next category is the Local Authority Recycling Innovation Award. And so what this award recognizes is the importance of partnerships with municipalities, government, and local authorities in addressing waste reduction behavior and helping to capture value from resources that would otherwise be lost. And the runner-up for this year is the Department of Economic Development, Environment, Conservation, and Tourism. And the person that was nominated here is Maputi, based in the Northwest Province, working for DEDCT within the Environmental Empowerment Directorate. She has planned and executed various workshops and awareness-raising initiatives and installed 2 waste separation at source stations. So Maputi, we commend the work that you do and congratulations for that and for being a runner-up. And the winner in this category is Belinda Langenhoven, who is a former DEDP employee. And when we say DEDP, it is the Department of Environmental Affairs and Development Planning. So congratulations to Belinda. You have been an excellent example of how municipal officials are key role players in enabling successful recycling initiatives and improving waste management. So well done on all that you have achieved. And these are just some pictures highlighting the work that that Belinda has done. Apologies, I see that that bottom picture is quite blurry, but you can get the scale. So Belinda Langenhoven formerly an official at the Department of Environmental Affairs and Development Planning in the Western Cape, has implemented various initiatives, including the Buy Recycled campaign, recycling roadshows, training workshops for waste entrepreneurs, and establishing the Western Cape Recycling Action Group. She has facilitated partnerships and improved cooperation between municipalities and PROs, addressing various recycling and waste management challenges. Her efforts have positively impacted waste management across the Cape Metro and local municipalities, indirectly diverting waste and bolstering the recycling economy in the Western Cape. So Belinda, well done to you and for all that you have achieved. The mic is yours if you are with us.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm really just so chuffed and so grateful for being recognized for the work that and I must say we, because obviously we were a bigger team. And so I want to thank, first of all, Petco for acknowledging the work that we do at the Department of Environmental Affairs and Development Planning in trying to stimulate this recycling economy in the Western Cape. Our journey started quite a while ago. I mean, in 2006 and 2007, when we started a study into the recycling economy, and from there onwards, we had a strategy. And I think over the years, we had various roadshows, we had a minimization summit, and with all of this, we engaged very closely with a variety of stakeholders, particularly with the PROs out there, and Petco has been a very strong partner and have actually helped and realized many of our goals that we set out. We did not have lots of money, but we obviously facilitated lots of opportunities, and we really relied on our partners out there like Petco and all the other PROs to provide the support that we needed to achieve our objectives. So yeah, I'd like to thank my senior managers also for allowing us to take this road. And then most importantly, my family at home also allowed me the opportunity to indulge this passion and to live, to go out there and do the work that we've done over the years. So thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you so much. And well done for all the work that you've done. It's been an honor to work with you, and I know that the team has been a part of a lot of the initiatives that you've done, and your passion is truly something that is inspiring. And I hope lots of people can take that and continue with your legacy at the department.
Yeah, thanks very much.
So, okay, we are moving on to the next award, which is the Recycling Partnership Game Changer Award. And this next category recognizes partnerships that have successfully implemented game-changing initiatives, policies, or programs that advance collection, recycling, and sustainability in South Africa. And we have decided to name 2 winners for the work that they have done in this sector. And in no particular order, the first winner is AECI for all the work that they have done. And we've kind of done it in partnership, but it's been, without them, we wouldn't have been able to have implemented some of these initiatives or all of these initiatives. And so congratulations to Nicole and the team. You have been an excellent example of how a company can make a significant impact in and beyond the communities in which you operate. You have shown how impactful CSI can be, and we look forward to many more years of working together and making a difference. Well done on all the work that you have instigated and achieved. It's been an incredible privilege to work alongside a company like AECI. So since 2001, AECI has partnered with us to promote environmental stewardship and social empowerment. In 2023, 275 tons were recycled across 13 supported buyback centers near AECI's operations. These centers employ over 284 individuals, including 115 women benefiting waste pickers and rural communities, each with an average population of 2,500 people. Their initiatives impact over 33,000 beneficiaries, and this establishes AECI as a significant player in recycling partnerships. So from the bottom of our hearts, and I know specifically from the team that's based in Joburg, we just want to say congratulations on all the work that you do, and we are really looking forward to continuing our partnership into the future. So Nicole, if you are here, I'd love to hand over to you if you are on the call. There you are.
Hi, Cara. I am on the call. A huge thank you to the judges, particularly for this recognition, but to Belinda and her team. They are an amazing team to work with. They actually make us look good as an organization. I think this is one of the initiatives that really demonstrates our purpose as an organization. We are one AECI for a better world. And these programs really create a cleaner, better world. And for me, it ticks so many boxes. It creates social value, economic value, as well as environmental value. And we are just so proud of this partnership. We value Petco, and hopefully we can build more buyback centers and empower more waste pickers. It's a program very, very close to our hearts and that of the organization. So thank you very much for this recognition.
Thank you so much, and thank you for making time to be here. I know that you're in back-to-back meetings, so we really appreciate you making the time to be with us.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon. Thank you so much, and well done.
Take care.
Take care. And the next winner is Greenway Africa and Heineken for Project Vuselela. So congratulations to Sandile and to the Heineken team, and to all the people that are working on the ground to make this project happen. So Greenway Africa and Heineken have been a great example of how two companies can work together to make a really big difference. Well done to all of the well done on all of the work that you have achieved. Greenway Africa, in partnership with Heineken's Project Vuselela, is dedicated to collecting various recyclable packaging to support waste reclaimers' livelihoods and promote sustainability. By optimizing waste collection routes and utilizing trucks, the initiative ensures efficient and inclusive waste management practices, safeguarding waste picker livelihoods. Their holistic approach and impactful partnerships with the municipality and various buyback centers around Durban underscores their commitment to driving positive change. Congratulations again. And Sandile, if you are here, would love to pass the mic over to you. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Petco, for this amazing award and for the recognition, and also for recognizing Project Vuselela and the impacts that we're doing in the community. We thank you so much. So I would like to thank the following people, more especially Heineken, for partnering with us. Specifically, I would like to thank Eric Leonsang, and also I'd like to thank Molatselo Mutabu and also Millicent for their unwavering support. And I'd also like to thank the Greenway team as a whole for making sure that Project Vuselela is a success, and also our web developers who develop an app for us, and also our buyback sensors that we are working with to making sure that our waste is being processed. And also I would like to thank everybody who made this a success, especially Heineken, for their unwavering support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're truly humbled for Petco for recognizing us as one of the award winners for this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us, and thanks for taking the time, and thank you for all the work that you do. I think also, being there and seeing what you do and the impact that you have on the lives of so many waste pickers, and how much recyclable packaging you guys are collecting in and around Durban is really incredible. And I saw that there was a lot of people that were asking about recycling and collection in Durban, and I would encourage them to look up this project to see what you guys are doing, what this project's doing, and to see how they can be a part of it to start collecting recyclable packaging and earning an income from it at these buyback centers and at the project. Thank you, Sandile.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the work you've done. And Also, just a shout out to the Heineken team. I see Eric is also on the call. So thank you for being with us, Eric. And the next category is Top Woman in Recycling for 2023. This category recognizes the importance of women in leadership, specifically within the recycling sector in South Africa, and aims to grow the number of women role models in the sector. In this category, we have one winner who we wish to recognize, and we have one runner-up. And the first and only runner-up in this category is Jessica van der Linde from Neo and Rafikile Recycling. Jessica, your impressive journey with Neo Recycling since 2014, your strategic partnership with Rafikile Recycling, and your commitment to making recycling accessible and supporting local communities is truly inspiring. We are honored to recognize your achievements and to know about the work that you do. So well done on being the runner-up. And the winner in this category is Rafilwe. Well done, Rafilwe from Hendrina Recycling. You have grown your business and undertaken various impactful initiatives, highlighting a strong commitment to your community and to the environment. And we look forward to watching you grow and flourish even beyond where you are now. So Rafilwe founded Hendrina Recycling in 2020, so not that long ago, and she has grown the business to incredible heights, covering a vast area. You can see how big her site even is, but covering a vast area, she engages in impactful initiatives such as schools awareness campaigns and community outreach. She collaborates with local associations and provides training and equipment to support waste pickers and other people in the community. Her focus on the daily collection of recyclable packaging led to the processing of over 700 tons of recyclable packaging in 2023, transforming waste management in the area. Well done to Rafilwe. And the last category identifies the use of innovation in waste management and recycling. This includes innovations in sorting, processing, any technological advancement that enhances efficiency and sustainability. And the runner-up in this category is Zipato Green Tech. We commend you and your innovative startup. So Pato Chedzo runs Zipato Green Tech, and it's a startup waste management company turning plastic and biomass waste into bricks, brooms, and eco briquettes. They collaborate with local schools to collect plastic waste, using it to pave school grounds and promote sustainability. So well done on all that you have achieved and your innovative approach to waste management. And we are looking forward to see what you achieve in the future. And the winner in this category is, last but not least, Infinite Industries. So congratulations to Maggie and the team. You have been an excellent example of how one can reimagine waste. By applying innovation to a challenge that presented itself, you have shown that useful and beautiful products and even artwork can come from items that others might not have found value in. So well done on all that you have achieved. Infinite Industries is an upcycling company that transforms waste plastics into versatile boards called Infinite Board, sourcing materials from industrial partners and private suppliers, including plastic bottles, liquid board packaging, and rubber tires. They produced low-cost building materials, schools' desks, and signage, among other things. Their efforts have diverted 655 tons of plastic waste away from landfills. So Maggie, I think I saw you join, and if you are, I'd love to hand over the mic to you to say a few words.
Thank you so much to Petco and all the judges. We are really honored, and I would like to say thank you on behalf of my team and I for giving us this huge accolade. I feel so proud today, but I feel even more proud to be amongst all these finalists and the winners of all the categories, because it is truly inspirational how individuals can spark something from starting in a garage. And we started this business from an office at home, and we had a dream about creating something that was sustainable and would leave the world in a better place than what we found it in. So an absolute honor, and we say thank you so much for the accolade. We are really very, very proud of it.
Thank you so much, Maggie. I think that's so true. Like when we were going through the judging process of looking through all these incredible nominations, the thing that always stands out to me, and it kind of talks back to what Mbali spoke about, but just like the power of one person. So many of these projects were started out of one person having an idea that they thought maybe wouldn't be able to work, and like look where it's come, whether it's your business, whether it's a buyback center, whether it's a collection company, whether it's someone who started something in a retirement resort. I just think it's so inspirational that, you know, to think about the power that one person has, and especially South Africans, especially when it comes to innovation and thinking outside the box and getting things done. I think it's incredible. So well done for your business and all the work that you do, and we can't wait to see how you grow and flourish in the future as well.
Thank you so much. It's you've actually said, you've nailed it. And I always say that the problems that we have, if we approach it all collectively and we all play our parts, we can then achieve so much more. And it's really great to see big brand owners on this platform, as well as, you know, the retirement homes. And that's why I say it's truly an honor and inspiration to be amongst all the finalists and winners today. And we thank you, Petco, for giving us the accolades and the platform to showcase what we do. And hopefully we can achieve a lot more with partnerships, especially with our PROs, and achieving the mandate of zero waste to landfill, because that's at the end of the day what we're here to achieve as a collective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, on that very inspiring note, I'm going to hand over back to Cherie, our CEO. Thank you so much, Maggie. I'm going to hand over back to Cherie to just to close the session. And I would also like to, at the end of the session, just ask the Petco team if you are able to just unmute yourselves and to share your screens, just to show everybody who you are. And we're a small team, but we do quite a lot, I think. And so if you could all just share your screens once Cherie's done, or while she's wrapping up, that would be great. Over to you, Cherie.
Thanks so much, Cara. That was absolutely wonderful. It's the highlight of the year for me to see what is happening on the ground, what people are inspired to do, the incredible strength that they have to face all these challenges. So I want to just say congratulations to everybody. I want to say a really big thank you for joining us, to our members, to our partners, to the entire team at Petco. It's a really small team. We're the biggest that we've ever been, at a count of 18 now. But I like to tell everybody that they're a small, high-performance team who work whatever hours are needed and do whatever is needed to be done as part of our teamwork makes the dream work. In particular, I'd like to really thank Junaid and Cara for pulling this event together. It's an enormous effort to collate the work that we do in a year, to choose what we incorporate and what we leave out, wanting to actually include absolutely everybody. So thank you, Cara. Thank you, Junaid. Really well done. Thanks to all of the Petco team on the ground who drive these numbers, who report on the data, who share your trials and tribulations, and who never say, I can't do it. You really do whatever it needs to be done, whatever needs to be done. You take it on, and for that I really applaud you. So thank you, everyone. Have a great, great afternoon. And I'm not sure if we can see the team. I can't see any pictures.
We just need to bring them on to the panel quickly so that they can show their faces. But yeah, the chat's open, and any comments or questions or anything, feel free to type in the chat. We've opened the chat. Yeah, so there's some chats here. Emmy, thank you, Cara, Cherie, and the rest of the Petco team for all you do for us to continue doing the good work you do in recycling, inspiring, educating, advocating, and changing the tide against waste. From Tanya Henderson, a special thanks to Belinda and to the Petco team. Thank you, Oliver. Excellent. Well done, Petco team. Fabulously motivating. Time well spent. Go SA. And there's Belinda there. There is Junaid. There is Bhavesh. Ralph just says, well done. And here, there's Naledi. Here's Natalie.
We are all here.
We are all here. I think Samu just needs to be added. Sandila's just said thanks to everyone who was a runner-up and everyone who won. I thank you so much, Petco. Chair Paul, thanks, Petco. We're inspired. Thanks, Samu. There's the B. Unmute yourself. Belinda. Can someone please unmute Belinda's microphone?
There we go. There's the Joburg office. Wonderful. Wonderful to see you. So we've had Joburg office, Cape Town office. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great afternoon. And with that, I'm going to declare our 2023 19th AGM done and dusted. Till next year.